and welcome to Tennessee's At-Home Learning Series for Math. Today is the 18th lesson in our series. Our lesson is for all our fourth graders out there, even though anyone is welcome to tune in. My name is Miss Pereira, and I'm a fourth grade teacher here at Venus Stewart Elementary in Gallatin, Tennessee. Welcome to my virtual classroom. If you didn't see any of our previous lessons, you're welcome to continue watching, but we do recommend you go online to www.tennessee.gov/education to find our previous lessons, since we will be covering previously taught material. Today we will be learning about estimating quotients. Before we get started, you're going to need some materials so that you can actively participate. You need a paper and a pencil and a nice space for working. I'll give you just a few seconds to gather those materials. Remember that a quotient is the answer to a division problem. Since we're going to be exploring quotients a little more today, let's do a quick review. Consider this problem. Holly has 38 cookies. She has 5 friends coming to visit. If Holly and her 5 friends each eat an equal number of cookies, how many cookies will each friend get to eat? So what information does the problem give us? Good. It tells us that there are 38 cookies in total for Holly and her 5 friends to share. So how many people are going to be eating cookies? 6. Very good. Holly and her 5 friends. So Holly's going to be eating some as well. So good catch. Holly's going to be eating some too, so we have to split or divide the 38 cookies by 6 people. And what is it that we're trying to figure out? How many cookies each friend will get to eat. So what operation are we going to use to figure this out? Very good, division. Holly wants to figure out how to divide her 38 cookies among 6 people so that they each get an equal amount. So 38, the cookies, are our dividend, divided by the 6 friends, our divisor, will give us how many cookies each person would get, our quotient. So what are some of the strategies that we could use to solve this? I'm hearing a lot of good things like make equal groups of objects, draw pictures, use multiples. For this problem, let's use multiples of 6. Remember, to get multiples of 6, think about your basic facts. 1 times 6 is 6. 2 times 6 is 12. 3 times 6 is 18. 4 times 6 is 24. 5 times 6 is 30. 6 times 6 is 36. 7 times 6 is 42, and we can stop there because my 42 goes over my 38. So let's go back to this 36. 36 is 6 times what number? Very good. 36 is 6 times 6. So we can use this to help us solve our 38 divided by 6. We know that 6 groups of 6 is 36. So they can give each friend 6 cookies. But 36 isn't equal to 38. So what does that tell us? Very good. We're going to have 2 cookies left over because Holly wanted everyone to get the same amount. So if she gives everyone 6, including herself, there'll be 2 cookies left over. Good job. Now, sometimes when we're solving problems, we don't really need an exact answer. We might just want a quick answer that we can calculate in our heads that's close to the exact answer. Estimates also help us compare 2 quotients or even determine if exact answers we found are reasonable. In these situations, we can estimate the answer using compatible numbers. You may have used compatible numbers to estimate products when multiplying. You can use compatible numbers to estimate the answers to division questions. Compatible numbers are numbers that are easy to compute in your head mentally. So let's look at this question. A horse's heart beats 132 times in 3 minutes. About how many times does it beat in 1 minute? So what is the division problem that we're estimating here? Very good. 132 divided by 3. And we know that we see this word about, so that lets us know that we can estimate. It's not looking for an exact answer. About how many times does it beat in 1 minute? So when we're thinking about 132 divided by 3, what are some numbers that divide easily by 3? Right, we can think about our multiples. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. But those aren't anywhere close to 132. And it could take us a while to count our multiples up to that point. But we can think about 3 as 3 tenths and 6 as 6 tenths, 9 tenths, 12 tenths, 15 tenths. So we know 3 tenths would be 30, 6 tenths, 60, 9 tenths, 90, 12 tenths, 120, and 15 tenths, 150. So which one of these multiples that are easily divisible by 3 are close to 132? Very good, the 120. 150 goes above. So we know that 120 is going to be easily divisible by 3, so we could use that multiple for our estimate. So we know that 120 is the same as 12 tenths. We know that 12 divided by 3 is equal to 4. Very good. So we can use that basic fact to help us solve this. We can rewrite our division problem as 120, our estimated division problem, 120, I just messed that up, as 12 tenths divided by 3. You already told me that 12 divided by 3 is 4, and then we carry our unit over with it. 4 tenths, which is equal to 40. So 120 divided by 3 is 40. Now, 120 divided by 3 is 40 was not our original equation because the question just asked us about how much. So we used 120 as a compatible number because it's easily divisible in our heads to do 120 divided by 3 equals 40. So we know 120 is the same as 12 tenths. So we can say that our good estimate for 132 divided by 3 is 40. So thinking back to our problem, about how many times does it beat in 1 minute? It beats about 40 times in 1 minute. Now, remember that since an estimate doesn't have to be exact, there can be more than one estimate for a problem. Is there another number that will easily divide by 3 in our list of numbers that would give us a different estimate? So let's go back and look at our list of compatible numbers. What's another one that could work for our estimate? Very good. 150 is a compatible number. It's easily divisible by 3 that we could use for our estimate. So let's take a look at that. We know that 150 equals 15 tenths. We know that 15 divided by 3 equals 5. So we know that 15 tenths divided by 3 would be 5 tenths. So we know that 150 divided by 3 would equal 50. So another good estimate for our original problem, 132 divided by 3, could also be 50. So which estimate do you think is closer to our actual answer? The about 40 beats per minute or about 50 beats per minute? Interesting choice. Why? Let's look at the compatible numbers we chose to use for our dividends in our estimates on a number line and compare them to the dividend of the original problem. So draw a number line with me. We're going to start by just drawing our number line with arrows on each end because we know numbers go infinitely in both directions. And our original equation was 132 divided by 3. And then our compatible numbers that we found were 120, 150. So we need to make sure that our number line is able to represent those numbers. Our smallest number was 120, our biggest number was 150. So let's start at 100. And let's go up by increments of 10 on our number line. So 100, 110, 120, 130, 140, 150, 160, and we could keep going, but we don't need to because we're going to be able to plot all our points that we need on this number line. So our original dividend was 132. So on our number line, it's going to be just slightly above 130, and I'm going to just label that 132. The first compatible number that we found was 120. The second compatible number that we found was 150. So which compatible number is closer to our original dividend? We know that 120 is only a difference of 12. We know that 150 is a difference of 18. So we can see that 120 is closer to our original dividend, so that means our estimate of about 40 beats per minute is the better estimate. Great job. Estimations can be particularly helpful and save us a lot of time when we're asked to compare two quotients. So let's look at an example. Write on your paper 613 divided by 3, and then we're going to just put a circle here in the middle because we're going to compare it to another quotient. Write 581 divided by 2. So we're going to determine if 600 divided by 3 is less than, greater than, or equal to 581 divided by 2. So to compare, let's estimate each quotient. We'll start with the 613 divided by 3. What is a compatible number for 613 that divides easily by 3? I heard 600. Is 600 close to 613? Yeah, and we know that 6 is easily divisible by 3. So we're going to estimate with the equation 600 divided by 3. We know that 600s divided by 3 would be 200s. So 600 divided by 3 is 200. Now let's look at our other expression, 581 divided by 2. What would be a compatible number for 581, a number that's easily divisible by 2? Correct, I heard 600 again. Is 600 close to 581? Yeah, and we know that 6 is divisible by 2, so 600 is divisible by 2. 600 divided by 2, we know 600s divided by 2 would be 300s, so 600 divided by 2 is 300. Now that we've got a good estimate, we can go back and fill in our original equation or inequality, what is less than, greater than, or equal to. So since 600 divided by 3 is 200, that means 613 divided by 3 is less than 581 divided by 2 because our estimated quotient here was 300. Nice work. So remember, compatible numbers help us estimate quotients easily in our heads. We can use compatible numbers to find two estimates that the actual answer falls in between. Then we can consider each one to determine which is a better estimate based on which compatible number is closer to the original dividend. Thank you for thinking through these strategies with me today. Now you're going to get to practice some of these strategies, so get your pencil and paper ready. Walk through this next problem with me as I think aloud. Mrs. Poe has 1,382 books in her library. If she puts about the same amount of books on each of 5 large bookcases, approximately how many books will be on each bookcase? Since the question is asking for an approximation, because it says approximately, I know I only need to find an estimate. I also know from the context that Mrs. Poe is dividing up the books among 5 bookcases. So now I know I need to divide 1,382 by 5. So write that on your paper and work through this with me. 1,382 divided by 5. I'm going to use compatible numbers to find two estimates that the quotient 1,382 divided by 5 is between. First, I'm going to find two numbers that are close to 1,382 that divide easily by 5, my two compatible numbers. One of the numbers is going to be slightly less than my dividend. One of the compatible numbers is going to be slightly greater than my dividend. So, what numbers divide easily by 5? 5, 10, 15, 20. I know 10 divides easily by 5. So that means 10 hundreds would also divide easily by 5. So I know that 10 divided by 5 is 2. So that means 10 hundreds divided by 5 would be 2 hundredths. So that means 1,000 divided by 5 would be 200. So 200 is one of my estimates for 1,382 divided by 5. I used 1,000 as my compatible number in my dividend. That's my compatible number that's slightly less. So let's look at a compatible number that's slightly greater. So we know 10 divided by 5 equals 2. The next multiple would be 15 divided by 5. And we know that 15 divided by 5 is 3. So that means 15 hundredths divided by 5 would be 3 hundredths. I'm running out of room. So that means 1,500 divided by 5 would be 300. So 1,500 is my compatible number that I chose that's slightly greater than my original dividend. So that means that Miss Poe would need to put between 200 and 300 books on each bookcase. Which estimate do you think is closer to the actual answer? Yes, Since 1,382 is closer to 1,500, that means 300 is closer to the actual answer of how many books she would need to put on each bookshelf. Thank you for thinking through that with me. Now let's do one together. Casey was asked to make 175 cupcakes for a bake sale. She wants to have about the same amount of each of 3 different flavors: chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry. Approximately how many of each cupcake flavor will she need to make? What's the division problem we're estimating here? Very good. 175 divided by 3, because she had 175 total cupcakes and she wanted to make about the same of each flavor, and she had 3 flavors. So let's think about that. 175 divided by 3. What compatible numbers are close to 175 that will divide easily by 3? I heard 150 and 180. Great, 15 and 18 both divide easily by 3, therefore, so do 150 and 180. Which compatible number would be best to use for this estimate? I hear 180. Why would 180 be better? Yeah, because 180 is closer to 175 than 150. And also is that if Casey only used 150 cupcakes, she wouldn't have enough for the bake sale. Okay, so write this problem using compatible numbers that we chose. We chose to go with 180 divided by 3 to estimate our quotient. We know that 18 divided by 3 is 6. Very good. So that means 180 divided by 3 is equal to 60. Excellent job. So about how many of each flavor cupcake should Casey make for the bake sale? Correct. She should make about 60 of each flavor for the bake sale. Great job. Now try one on your own. This time I'm going to give you one of where you estimate which quotient would be greater, less than, or equal to. So write this at the top of your paper. 364 divided by 4. We're going to do a little circle because you're going to decide, is it less than, greater than, or equal to 117 divided by 6? Think about your compatible numbers that you could rewrite to do mentally in your head. I'll give you 2 minutes to solve this problem on your own, and then we'll check together. Okay, how did you do? 364 divided by 4 is greater than, less than, or equal to 117 divided by 6. Very good. It is greater than. I estimated the first quotient to be 90. You may have chosen a different compatible number, and that's okay. 90, because I know that 36 divided by 4 is 9. So 360 divided by 4 is 90. 360 was the compatible number I chose. And then 117 divided by 6, I chose the compatible number of 120 because I know 12 divided by 6 is 2. So 120 divided by 6 is 20. And we know that 90 is greater than 20, so greater than symbol is the correct symbol that goes there. Great job today. Here is some independent practice for you to try on your own at home. You can get it from the TV, or you can go online to www.tennessee.gov/education and print it off to work on. Thank you again for inviting me into your home today and working hard with me. I really do appreciate that. And I look forward to seeing you in our next Tennessee's At Home Learning series.